step-pops were, really, it was just me and myself in the crib. He never was there. But, yeah, it was me and my step-pops, and my moms didn't want me to go to high school, and I think it was a good thing because I got a lot of cut cards. I don't know if I got these cut cards because I knew I was getting ready to move or if that was just what was going to be because the school was so far from my house. You know what I'm saying? Like in New York, in Brooklyn, or in New York, period, you got to apply for high school, Kysii.
Yep.
Almost like you do, not almost, exactly like you do for college. Now, if no high school accepts you, then you got to go to your zone school is what they call it. Your zone school is the school that's closest to your house.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I got accepted to Grady. It was the only school that accepted me. My best friend at the time, he got accepted to that school too. But the only classes I went to were the 2 classes that I had that he was in. You know what I'm saying? And I would go home. So, you know, it was a good thing. It was a good thing. Mom's got me up out of there, moved to VA for a better life, and it ended up being so. It ended up being so.
Man, that's a good story, man. Good story right there, man.
Even though I got into a lot of trouble in Virginia, you know, New York will swallow you whole. I think I swallowed Virginia up.
Yes, that's the question. So do you think that it was any better? I mean, I know people from New York that did well, man. You know what I mean? It wasn't, you know.
I think it was way better, man. Like, I know there's guys I grew up with, like my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor's little brother. My next door neighbor, one of my closest friends, his name is Johnny, right? And his little brother Demetrius, but we call him Anwan or Skip.
Yeah.
He was always, you know, a bad nigga. But when I tell you, this dude probably could have been one of the best basketball players. Him and Johnny, like they knew all the Anwan tricks.
Right.
And the funny thing about it is, like I said, the dude lived directly next door from me. Like you come out my apartment and look to the left, it's his door. And you would never see him practice this shit, but they would come out and do all type of tricky shit and, you know, putting the ball under their legs and then throwing it behind their back, throwing it behind their back as a pass to somebody. And it was just like, oh my goodness. And either one, him and his little brother, you know, they could have been real good at basketball. Johnny, you know, he got his head on straight though. Johnny, I knew he would always have his head on straight, but his little brother though, you know what I'm saying? Like he was a hard-headed little nigga, you know what I'm saying? He ended up getting robbed. He was selling weed. He ended up getting robbed. I guess a family nigga was getting shit up. Nigga shot him in his chest like 4 times. He survived, but he still walked with a limp. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then not only that, he went back to doing the same shit. Somebody ratted on him, and then they kicked down the door. They kicked down the door, like right next to my older cousin Elsie. She still lives in the apartment in my apartment in the project that I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? And they kicked down their door. Not my cousin's door, but they kicked down my people's, my man's and them, kicked down their door, locked him up, you know what I'm saying? And now my cousin who was living in my apartment that I grew up in, she moved into that apartment for more space because they had a 3-bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, New York will swallow you whole and for no reason at all. When you're out here in the South, for as long as you're not doing nothing crazy, you ain't doing nothing hot, you pretty much at liberty to do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying, Kysii?
Right.
Like, I can have a gun in the South, even if I don't have a license to conceal it. I can carry that shit on my hip, wide ass open in the day, so niggas know if they want to try to come rob me, this is what you got to deal with. I can do shit like that. But in New York City, in the city of New York, you know what I'm saying? So in any one of the 5 boroughs, guns are illegal. You can't have no guns. So you know what I'm saying? It's just a different. It's just different. But I never came down with that mentality. A lot of people in the South don't like cats from New York because cats from New York be arrogant. You know what I'm saying? But I was never one of those arrogant dudes. I always felt like it ain't where you from, it's where you at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm down here, and in Virginia, you know, where I was from in New York, they shoot you or they stab you or whatever. In Virginia, you gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? So you had to learn how to have your knuckle game straight. You know what I mean? So I think for the evolution of me as a man, that was probably the best move that could have happened for me, even though I ended up getting charged with capital attempted murder years later. Still in all, I just think that move was the best thing my mom could have did.
This is a perfect spot to welcome another guy that came up in this piece. He's usually on all of my shows, man. You know what I'm saying? Great supporter, man. Listen to TDSS. I met him first year, TDSS 1. Hard working brother, man. He owned his own business. And he, you know what I'm saying, if you got a problem on the east side with your ride, be sure to hit this dude up. This man right here from the Southwest, from SWATs, he was around all them cats, man. He's around Outkast, Goody Bob, whole Dudgeon family, man. He grew up heading the low, down in, you know what I'm saying, you don't get no more ATL than that right there. So his intro music is going to be a little bit different here, man. But I want to give a shout out to my man Melvin.
You ever see that stuff today? When it get cold, the ice that you can't see.
Yes, sir.
Some shit happens sometimes. Now you know, and I know, I done bumped every hole in the wall, y'all. Did you catch that phone call?
All right. That's my man Melvin, man. My man Melvin in the building, man. What's good? All right, so and when you were speaking about that, it's crazy, man, because like I went to school here. So I'm from Virginia. Well, actually, I was born in Grady, so I'm a Grady baby. But I was born here in Grady.
You ain't got no Grady baby head though. You know when Grady got some head, it's kind of like a little cone shaped at the top, but you ain't got no Grady baby head.
Hey, they made sure to shape my shit out, man.
You know what I'm talking about, though, Kysii.
Ho. I know this dude.
And Sluggo do too.
Oh, man. Something blasphemous was just said about Rough Buff, man. Not to say there was a problem with Slim Calhoun, but he just said what happened to Slim Calhoun, he was the best out of the Dungeon family. Do you know that statement you just made, Buff?
That just mean that was his favorite.
I mean, he just said Slim Calhoun over Andre 3000, over Big Boy, over Big Gip, over CeeLo, over the Cool Cut. That's my cousin, man. Cool Breeze is my cousin,
man.
huh?
Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
My favorite two artists out of Goody Mob, Cujo, and then CeeLo.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, Joe, because I personally know Joe. Actually,
Joe's that dude, man.
I actually met him.
And Joe fucking nigga up too.
He will, man. Put them hands on you. Hey, he got a book, man. He got a book straight out the A. And I read it, man. It was a good book, man. But it basically broke down the meat and bones of Joe. You know what I'm saying? So he was actually the real gangster about that group. You know what I'm saying? He put them hands and paws on you. You know what I'm saying? But
Joe was my favorite.
Actually physically met him because there's a lady who I interviewed probably, I don't know, 6-7 episodes ago, Arlinda Garrett. She connected me with Joe. She was promoting and managing him at the time when Goody Mob was doing that little split. So he did a solo thing. So she brought him to me, and I did his website. And it was the man, not the dog. So we did the website. After that, you know, so they kind of collaborated on a lot of his PC issues and stuff. You know, I was the IT man for Joe for, you know, a little while. And, you know, I met him, his wife, his kids, and all that stuff. And I just continued on. I actually run, I don't know if everybody know that, I run the Goody Mob Facebook group that's there. I think it's 5,000 plus strong people in it.
I always wanted to ask you how you got your Goody Mob connection, but now you're telling me already without me knowing.
Yep. So, so I had that connection. I used to have his number. We used to, you know, check on each other every now and then. But something been going on, man. I don't know. He's been real behind the scenes, and he hasn't even performed with the groups when they perform and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's a health issue. I know his father had got killed a year or two back. It was on First 48. He actually was on First 48, the episode itself. You know what I'm saying? I guess Dad was a real big part of him. So I don't know if that just zapped the soul out of him where he didn't want to perform anymore or whatever. But yeah, man, he ain't been performing. When you gonna
follow up with Gip though?
Yeah, man, I sent a text out like, yo, when you're ready to do a part 2, you know, let me know. You know, the people get busy. I did the same thing with Parrish too, though. I guess those are my two biggest interviews now, Parrish Smith and Big Gip. But
hey, Kysii, people don't know this about you, man, and it's something that I learned following your show. You got a lot of damn connections, bro.
Well, I mean,
you got a lot of connections, and I didn't want to be like, yo, Kysii, why don't you put me on without it? You know what I'm saying? But I can't do that. Like you got a lot of connects, man. You had, I can't remember the young lady's name, Kysii, but you had the one lady, you know what I'm saying, about, you get so many different people on your show, like, who are doing things for themselves and doing things for the black community. You had that one lady on, man. What the hell was her name, Kysii? You had her on, and she was talking about a conference that she was throwing.
That's Arlinda. That's the one that hooked me up with Cujo. That was her.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Arlinda Garrett.
Yeah, man, that was a great show, and I've been like, well, how the hell Kysii know all these folks? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I guess, you know, you did your time, and you met the right people, and like real talk, man. Like, you got a lot of connections. That's why I like listening to your show, because, you know, it's a break. You know me, I'm 100% sports. That's why I said, like, I listen to a certain era of music, but other than that, like, real talk, all I listen to all day is sports. I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to music, nothing like that. Like, I just listen to sports. I want to hear what's going on. I want to know what's, you know, and especially for what I do now. But it was even that before I started doing Cooking with the Microwave. I was just listening to sports, because it's something that was always changing for the most part. You know, you got them same stories that they want to drop to the ground, but it was just something different and something that kept me on my toes. But yeah, right. I got a lot of appreciation for the fact that, like, you got a lot of connections, man. Well, and I listened to some of your shows, and I was like, damn.
This how
the hell did Kysii get somebody that's doing all of that on his show?
This how it came about, man. So I actually used to, well, me and my partner G, actually, you know, Bad News, Newport News. When he came up here, he was already connected with. I mean, you've heard him talk about it several times, but he actually was connected with the Rowdy Records crew. You know what I'm saying? Back when he was here in Atlanta, him and my partner Smitty, they all went to DeVry. G was, you know what I'm saying, always had a love of music and interest in music, so he, you know, started making beats and stuff on his own. He connected with a guy named Spearhead X, who was in Decatur right now, also known as Big X of the Coalition DJs. But X actually was connected with Dallas Austin, Rowdy Records, whole thing. That was when TLC was coming out, and Usher and Monica and The King and I, Y'all So Stupid, all those groups coming out of Rowdy Records. Rowdy Records actually had a lot of, you know, artists coming through with LaFace, you know what I'm saying? So they rubbed shoulders with Too Short and Eric Sermon during that time when Eric came down south. So a lot of that connection is what they did. But at the same time, me and G, we just had a conversation one day because, you know, I love music. We said, okay, we're going to put together a whole team, which is my company to this day. I do the websites and graphic design and stuff. But when we first came up, we actually created a website. It was called Independent Records Online Now. Iron. Wow. So Iron came out. When Iron came out, we was like, we're going to start selling artists online. We were like one of the first websites to just distribute online. So we would actually go hook up with these independent artists. And they were like, yo, you want to listen to my CD? Like, cool, yeah, I get this. See, I do one up. Let me get your CDs, and I will sell them online. Because, you know, this is before people were selling music on the web. There was no MP3s and digital downloads at the time we was doing it. So you go to the website and look up this dude and buy a CD. And the cool thing was we were exposing people to a Japanese audience. I'm sorry. There was a group of people in Japan that somehow found my website, and they just kept ordering artists. You know what I'm saying? My man Dres the Beatnik, who was here in the A.
Well, they big on hip hop in Japan.
Right. So they were just finding all kind of hip hop and just and download. We had over 300 artists that we started selling. I ain't gonna say it was profitable at the time, you know what I'm saying? It was what it was. It made, you know what I'm saying, we'd ship it off, you know what I'm saying, put it in a package.
Basically, Kysii, what you're saying is, if we'd have known each other at that point in time, we both would be rich by now.
Hey, listen. So we went from Iron and the 300 artists that I had, and we ended up meeting another guy, my man James Caldwell, who's the third partner of Whole Team. So it's me, G, and James. We pretty much make up Whole Team. James came to us. He's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He was like, yo, I know y'all from Virginia. I'm from Carolina. I got this proposal I want to do for a music conference. So he hit me up. We said, okay, we're going to do a music conference. This was about 14 years ago now. But we was like, okay, what's up with this conference? And he was like, We're gonna have independent artists. We're gonna do it in Charlotte because Charlotte's an untapped